while Calpador is prevented, and then you get that many +1/+1 counters on Stormwild Calpador for each 1 damage prevented that way. So these are kind of our main 2 creatures that we're looking at. And then we've got obviously Storm's Wrath, which is a 4 damage sweeper. And then we've also got Cinderclasm, which is either a 1 damage sweeper or a 2 damage sweeper with a kicker on it. Essentially either boosting the Stormwild or hitting our Brash Taunters for a bunch of damage that gets redirected to our opponent, in addition to ideally clearing out the board. To support this along the way, we've got a Selfless Savior to help keep our Calpador alive. Spikefield Hazards for some little spot reduction or just that last bit of damage that we need, as well as helping increase our land pull. Glass Caskets, again, spot reduction along the way. This is a very slow starting deck, so we've got to have a lot of really removal heavy focus before we can get established with a Stormwild or a Brash Taunter or 2 on the deck, and really then start playing our sweepers to max benefit. Banishing Light for any non-creature removal that we might need. Solemn Synchronum, it's really one of the only creatures that gives us a good benefit when it dies. So we get an extra land when it comes in, then we get an extra card draw when it dies to our sweepers, or if we have to use it as a sacrificial block. So we get some advantage and everything from that. Then we've got the obvious Shatterskull Smashing, extra lands, but also potential additional removal support if we need it later in the game. And then some Castle Ardenvales. Worst case scenario, we can pump out some 1/1s after our sweepers and get in the rest of the damage we need that way. And then it's our combo lands, kind of round out the deck. So going in here, 16 regular lands, but we are playing with 8 of the flip lands. One's a tap, one's the 3 life. Essentially bolt ourselves to get it untapped. Ideally, we don't have to use these for their land abilities, between the 16 lands and the Solemn Synchronum. And then we've got the Maze Mine Tombs to help us scry and some additional draw support as well. Alright, so let's see what we can achieve in Standard. We're going to do 1 ofs just so we can do quicker play time. I'd say this deck does best against red, just simply because, especially if the red player is not paying attention to card abilities, it's pretty easy. You drop a Stormwild down, they immediately try and bolt it with something, and then you get a bigger Stormwild that they just can't get rid of. Alright. So we've got 2 regular lands, 1 of our tapped lands, 2 Selfless Saviors, and a Glass Casket. Okay, so this is pretty decent. We should be able to keep this. Alright, we're going to head and drop our Temple of Triumph to tap and scry. Calpador, awesome. Alright, so we'll keep this on top. And we're in pretty decent position. Alright, so traditional green opener with human. Playing with green to white. So we'll have to see what else they support out. Do our tapped Spikefield Cave, and then drop a Selfless Savior in. Ooh, they glass casted with Selfless Savior. That's interesting. Alright, so we're going to drop our land. Get our Stormwild out. Let's see if we can stick it out. So with white removal, that makes it a little bit easier for it to be gotten rid of. Looks like that. There it is. Okay. Looks like they're doing green, white. with adventure benefits. So we'll have to see. Okay, so I think we may have to just go and do this. Actually, let's wait. See if they drop anything else next turn for value. Because that's the one benefit with Cinderclasm, is it is an instant. Alright, let's go ahead and get rid of everything now. Alright, so we're going to drop a land. We're going to go ahead and casket his beast. Apparition in my casket, huh? Interesting. Alright, well... You know what? Let's go ahead and hit selfless save here. For now. Another casket. He really doesn't like the savior. Okay. Alright. I think we'll go ahead and pay the 3 life. Bring out our Taunter. With that 5/5 on the board, we can pretty much fight that for 4 turns to win the game. And still have a blocker every turn. Question is, does he play with Banishing Lights as well? Giant killer, okay. Well, after that drop, I think we're going to go ahead and do our first Wrath with the value out. Go, clears part of his board, gives us a 2/2 back, and 4 damage to his face. We're not going to attack, because I have a feeling we're going to start eating this elemental land that he can produce every turn otherwise. Okay, this is interesting. I haven't seen this type of build in play. Alright, so I think we're going to have to drop our tomb and go ahead and pass. Another innkeeper. Keeps shoving that Barons up. Okay, so he's passing the turn. We're going to go ahead and go with our fight on the beast. Throw another 5 at him. And let's go ahead and scry. And don't need that, so we'll drop it to the bottom. Alright, glass casket. I think that's worthwhile for the chain web. That way it can't come back and haunt us with a bigger and badder self after a sweeper. Next. No attacks. Pass and wait. Oh, right. First win for the Jank. Alright. Like I said, that's the one good thing this deck is doing. If it can make it up to turn 4 or 5, it can really stabilize really, really well. And at that point, it's just whether or not they can top deck hero their way out of facing off against that Jank with the Brash Taunter. Alright, so that's one win. Let's see if we can get another. reconnect. Oh. See if it's still loading or not. Alright, we might have to cancel and reattempt. That's super weird. It's not letting us. Guess we'll give it a moment to figure itself out. Don't know if anyone else has this occasional problem. Every once in a while, you get a connectivity issue with Arena. I think sometimes it depends on. I don't know if it's their end or my end. So I've heard other people complain about it on some of the different chat rooms for Magic that I'm on. Okay, let's. Oops. I hate to do this because it takes a little while to open it back up, but we'll force close it. Try and load it up again. See if we can get some traction from there. Again, if you guys do have questions about the deck, my opinions on Arena or anything, feel free to throw them in on the chat, especially during downtimes like this. Always happy to talk about Magic the Gathering. Probably one of my all-time favorite tabletop games. And ironically, a lot of my favorite video games revolve around them. I'll probably be doing a kind of impromptu RPG feature later tonight, around 8 o'clock Mountain Time. They'll be featuring Inquisitor Martyr. It's a RPG type game based upon the world of Warhammer 40K. You get to fight as a Inquisitor in their universe, taking out different heretics, traitors, and mutants, which I always enjoy. It's a pretty nice basic point and shoot with some character development along the way, and the gear is pretty awesome too. Alright, here we go. Round 2 with the Brash Jank. Alright, 3 lands, 2 sweepers, and okay, this can work, especially when we're on the draw. Alright, let's see what we got. We're playing Loris. This is probably some sort of, oh, it's not a rogue deck, okay. Alright, let's play our Mountain. Probably gonna have to flip one of these pathways into the white source. Oh, we're playing, okay, cycle. This can go really one of 2 ways. Either they get to their big spell, which does 1 damage for each card with cycle in their graveyard, and they gain that much life to me, or they miss it and give up. Unfortunately, there is a potential they get there really quick because they can cycle pretty much every card in the deck if they've got the right build. And then the Loris helps them bring back some of the other stuff too. So they can actually cycle it, get that value for card draw and any other cycling triggers they're looking for, and then still play the card after the fact. He must not be getting lands if he's going that hard for that next drop. Oh, there it is. I had to go with a flip land. Okay. Let's hit our scry, because we're going to get our life total up as high as possible. I'm going to keep that on top because we still need to get to 5 lands, and that's only a 4th. So I hit. I'm going to go white because we're a little light on that. Next. Beauty is, at this point, it looks like we can probably go for another free draw with Maze Mind. Unless he happens to drop one of his 1/1 out here, then we might need to pop it. No. Black, too. Right. He must have one of those in his hand. Otherwise, I don't know why he would be pushing the cycle as hard as he is right now. Okay, so we just drew our 5th land, so we're in a good spot. We're going to go ahead and hit the Stormwall Caprador. His odds are he doesn't have anything that can truly get rid of it properly in this deck. Because usually it only deals with damage, which his ability gets rid of. We'll see what he does now that he's got 4 lands with a potential 5th to drop this turn. Okay, so he's trying to figure out what it does. The Stormwild, it's a fun curveball. Some people read it and immediately understand what it does, others don't, and they struggle with it for the entire game. Okay, so damage to me. Chose not to use those, huh? Alright. Okay, so I think he's just trying to see how low he can get me before he does that spell. Alright, so let's get another counter on here. Yeah, 4th one might actually be helpful, so... Alright, we're going to drop for our other red. Let's go ahead and hit our Taunter. Then I'll casual swing for 1. Alright, end the turn. I'm sorry, I keep looking down because I've got some pups running around. They're usually napping around this time. Cycling, okay. So that's 4 mana in his hand. He's either got it this turn or he doesn't. 13 cards in hand. So it wouldn't be lethal, even if he did have it. That stinger. Luckily I've got 4 life gain from this Maze Mine coming now. Another Taunter. Yeah, let's keep that just in case he figures out a way to get rid of it. Some more damage. Okay, let's see. So we're going to go with our full kicker on this one. clear out the stinger. He went for it. Yes. I think he thought he could get lethal damage on it and forgot about the ability. Excellent. He gave us an extra buff. All right. That's why I love it. There's some people that can't grasp what it's actually saying, and they actually make it bigger when they're trying to kill it. Oh, there it is. Damn it. I knew he had to have it in there as heavy as he was going for it. By one. All right, all right. That's the problem with that. If I can't get there quick enough, should have swept instead of playing the other guy first. All right, that's the gamble you play with that. All right, let's try again. Technically 3 land with a Maze Mine Tomb. I think this will probably have to work with this one. It's hard to get it much better than that. Now the one advantage right now with the current standard format is there are so many tapped lands that come into play tapped initially in the format, that most people end up starting the turn with a tapped land, which gives us a little breathing room, luckily. I have a historic version of this same deck. The challenge with historic is the format, you know, there's so many decks that can hit lethal on you by turn 3 or 4. With a deck that needs to get to 5, it's really challenging to get there unless you've got the right draw every time. See, there's his other tapped. Okay, so we're gonna have to make the pathway white for my others. Drop our 2. Guess is this guy's playing some sort of cruel. Yep. Let's do our scry. Definitely green-red is kind of the peak in the meta right now. Checked this weekend, it said it was about 30% of the decks played out here in the arena. Turn. And it's up there just because it can simply come out and hit hard and heavy within the first 3 or 4 turns. Luckily, Stormwall Caprador really hits it with a curveball because half of his removal can't actually get rid of it. My turn. Let's hit a scry. See you. Okay, let's keep the land. Okay, we're going to go ahead and let that come in tapped. Okay, and then we're going to Banishing Light the Bone Crusher. And like I said, the key thing, he wanted to try and pop this. You could tell because he checked it. Then he realized he couldn't with the Crusher. The Crusher is probably the only one that gets close, just because the Bone Crusher's ability actually, the Stomp here, you see it says damage can't be prevented this turn. So it's probably one of the only burn spells right now that has a way to actually eliminate the Caprador, because it overrides his prevention ability. Alright, let's hit another scry. Brash Taunter. I think we're going to have to dump that right now because I just don't have the 5th land. And of course it shows up. Alright, let's see. He only has... So I think we need to get rid of the ooze while we can and get some benefit on our Caprador at the same time. Luckily, he doesn't have anything to get the ooze up to 3 toughness with its ability. Perfect. So now we've got a 3/5, which pretty much makes our Caprador untouchable, and he knows it. Alright. That's 2 wins. Awesome. Perfect. Like I said, if you can get there, it's just a matter of being able to lock out your opponent's board state. See if we can get some more. So we technically have 5 lands, but we can potentially utilize these for others if need be. The glass casket. Okay, let's see how this goes. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and drop this one, because it's going to be the hardest one to actually use as a spell compared to the Spikefield Hazard. Okay, case in point. End up spiking the Selfless Savior with our Spikefield Hazard, depending on what else he decides to drop out. Alright, nothing on Scry. Stormwind, alright. Cool. Only challenge is white has a bunch of exile removal that can potentially take care of this guy. Alright, we're going to pass the turn. Damn. Alright. Odds are he'll target himself with it, not the Selfless Savior. Yep. So that'll be fine. We can casket that one next turn. Turn, let's go and scry quick. Savior. I don't think this is going to help us right now. Awesome. Alright, let's hit casket on the Lumen Arc. Does he have a protection spell? Now, since I have the Taunter in hand, I think we're going to go ahead and drop this tapped for our land so I can have 5 available next turn. And pass. Yeah, every once in a while the Spikefield, it comes in useful to be able to use for that 1 extra damage. Other times, not so much. Oh boy, Maul the Sky Cleave. So this is going to hurt for a turn. But, oh, he's got another one. Damn it. Alright, alright. It's only 3 damage. No blocks. Very good. How much does that cost? Costs 4 to equip. So right now I'm trying to decide if I want to exile the selfless savior it's attached to, or the maul itself. I think, big picture, getting rid of the maul itself is probably going to be the way to go. Because otherwise he'll put it on something that's medium strength later, and my Storm's Wrath won't be able to get rid of it. Alright. Save for blockers. Bright side is we're going to hit the Maze Mine Tomb for 4 life. And be in a decent potential spot. Alright. Here comes the heavy hitters. Another maul. Alright. Well, good thing I got rid of the other one. Because it is not legendary. Lands open. Alright, another land. Ooh, and a glass casket. Okay, let's do this order. We'll wrath it. He'll try and protect it, which is fine, because it only has indestructible, not hexproof. Booyah. Alright, now we're in a solid position. 5/7 flyer, so we can potentially block off some of the other stuff. That's gonna hurt. Okay. Brash Taunter. I guess we're going to try and get in for 5 while we can. The real trick is you keep him low enough. The right sweeper spell if you can take him down. Alright. Okay, so do we save that for potential spot removal? Two, that leaves me with 3, 4, 5. guess we'll see. Life gain gets a little tricky, especially when it's on a flyer. If it's on the floor, it works great, because Brash Taunter absorbs it and deals it back. Interesting build. Okay, let's see what we got him. Ah, nice. Okay, so we're going to pop here. We might be able to get around these selfless saviors now. Because it's end of turn, so he can't cast the one. So I can pop that as long as I can do something to pop the other one and still deal enough damage to Dolores. Okay, so he sacked it so it couldn't come out. Well, I think we're doing this regardless just because it makes our Stormwild Caprador ginormous. Yep. So we got another 4 damage thrown back at him. We've got a 9/11 Caprador. I've still got enough mana for another fight next turn. See, the real challenge is... okay. We might have Brash Taunter fight our guy. Heliod. And he's active. Okay. Do his attacks. Alright, my turn. Target creature. Yes. Workaround. There we go. Suck on that. Kicker for the win. Doesn't matter, bud. You're still taking damage from me. And there it is. Booyah. Alright, that is our number 3. So we got a little bit of time. Let's see if we can get another one at least in the books. See, this is where the trouble starts, because there is no way we can keep this hand. Now we gotta hope for a better 6. Okay, we're gonna keep this. We're actually going to drop one of the tap lands and keep the 2 Maze Mine Tombs to help us scry or draw our way into some extra life and better cards. Ooh, Spikefield Hazard. So we're going to go red. And we're going to use it. This Fervent Champion's going to be a real pain in the butt over time. Boosted that with this other one. Alright, let's drop a tomb. Hit next. Now, it probably would have made more sense to wait and let him target with the Rune Rock before I popped him, but lessons learned. I got too excited. Alright, scry. Saber's not gonna do a lick of good for me. Alright, Temple. Yep, let's do that. Gets us an extra scry. Okay. Gets us some extra blockers in there. And then I guess we're gonna wait. Draw that at the end of the turn to make him sweat for a little bit. The only thing that may suck out is I may have to suck 3 damage to put this Shatter Skull smashing out. We'll see. 7 damage. Ooh. This, oh no. 10 damage now, huh? Oh. Boo. Alright. Near enough counters on this yet. Ah, damn it. I didn't want to scry. I wanted to draw. Oh. I'm an idiot. Damn it. And let's just kill ourselves and get to the next. Alright, yeah. So one thing we can't win against is supreme aggro with a pretty lousy starting point. Would have been a little different if I had waited to see what else he did, instead of immediately popping that knight on my turn. Okay, let's try one more. Technically 4 lands, decent sweeper, and a Caprador with the main guy later. Alright, and we're on the draw. Just an extra turn to get to things. Alright, awesome. We are going to do the same. Alright, red black. So probably going to face some discard. And his Croxa. Let's drop our planes and wait. So the Titan in this deck's, if he's playing what I think he is, the Titan in this deck's probably going to become the biggest problem, just because of the forced discard it creates. The only other problem with this is black removal for the Caprador. Yep, there it is, Croxa. Yep. I want to discard. This would be a non-land card unless I take 3 life. I think I'm going to take 3 life. Okay, got another land anyways. Another red. Stormwild. Let's see if this can stick for a turn. Odds are he's got a removal to get rid of it. He's a worthwhile black. Ugh, Crow and Wolf, what the hell? That is fine, I guess, because it's not going to kill me. Alright. Teutonic Giant. Okay, pain, but not really terrible for me. My real problem is I'm taking the damage. That's 4, so the glass casket can't get rid of it. I get him back. I think we'll be fine. So let's go ahead and put our Taunter out. Alright. Oh well. What's that do? That's the banish target player's graveyard. Okay. It's alright, I'm not usually really using graveyard for anything. He's probably using that to help fill his graveyard. Going for the card advantage. Alright, we're obviously gonna block. Damage back to him. That doesn't work, dude. It's indestructible. Like. Okay, how much? Got plenty of red. Let's drop another white in here so I can potentially do Ardent Veil later. I think we're gonna have to do Storm's Wrath. Let's ready him, does another 4. So next, no attacks. So now he does have enough for Croaks up, but I've got a card I can drop and a glass casket that I can take away. It's not a problem for me. Resolve. This is one downfall. He's still a creature with mana cost of 2, so he gets targeted easily by a lot of things. Carrot of Cinderclasm. Okay, so we are going to... do I want to do that? That might use up all my mana. Yeah. 6 damage. There we go. Then we're in a glass casket. How you fit a Titan into a casket meant for a princess, I don't know, but it works. Probably gonna hit me for 2. Don't have any creatures in my graveyard because you exiled them, dude. Ooh, alright. But not, because he doesn't have anything in the graveyard to activate it. Let's see here. Do I have the mana to do this right? I think I do. 1, 2, 3. Fight him. 4 damage. Thank you. And Storm's Wrath. 4 damage. Pop goes the weasel. There it is. Alright, that was win number 4. In